Instructional coach Diane Rios sits down to have a face-to-face time with one of the second-year teachers. Building rapport takes place through trusting relationships while supporting teaching practices. Through rapport and positive communication, teams can be built around a common goal. Communication and feedback are two elements that encourage relationship building.
Hello, Erin. Thank you for coming.
Hi.
How's it going in third grade?
Things are going great. So far, I'm really enjoying our new math program, and I'm looking forward to diving a little bit deeper into that technology component and seeing how that can help my students.
It is such an honor walking into your room. I can see your passion for teaching.
Thank you. All of your strategies that you've shared with me have really helped to make learning in my classroom more meaningful and my lessons more engaging for all of my students. I've noticed that motivation has really increased, and thank you so much for always responding to me in a timely manner with effective feedback and ways and strategies to help improve my teaching and my students' learning.
Absolutely, as an instructional coach, that's one of my jobs. I love to see a teacher who idolizes and really values students' individual needs.
Instructional coach Diane has previously observed a lesson in Erin's room. She is now offering effective and descriptive feedback through self-reflection and questioning techniques.
Erin, as promised, I came in and observed, and your lesson was highly effective and well-crafted. Feedback is one way that we can improve our teaching practices. How do you think the lesson went?
Overall, I thought my lesson went very well. The one thing that I did notice is that some of my students continue to be off task throughout my lessons.
I can see how that can be a little challenging too. May I share a few of the highlights of your lesson?
Absolutely.
Highly effective. So I made two notes in different colors, green and red.
Okay.
And I really enjoyed your use of academic language. I think that was super important for this math lesson on lines. It really reduces the cognitive load of our ELs. Your teacher modeling was superb, and that really gave children the right model to follow in their lesson. Periodically checking for understanding really helps us pace our lesson and know how much of the skill the children are really learning. I was a little confused as to how many of your students actually learned during the lesson. And I was thinking about thinking maps. How thinking maps, you could classify and categorize the lines here that you're referring to. And I know that through thinking maps, classifying and categorizing can really solidify the learning taking place. What are your thoughts?
I can really see how checking for understanding throughout my entire lesson would really be a useful strategy, just so I knew where my students were in their learning and their understanding, and possibly needing to clarify any misunderstandings that they might have. I also really like that idea of incorporating thinking maps into the lessons, again, just as a way to get my students to make sure that they understand the different concepts, and they could prove that to me through the use of that thinking map. And it could be, again, another way for me to check for understanding. I definitely plan on implementing both of those strategies in my future lessons.
Super. I'm wondering if you've ever thought about using hand gestures, especially for your types of lines. Hand gestures would be great. It really increases cognitive processing.
Okay, I hadn't really thought of that originally, but I would like to try to incorporate hand gestures into my future lessons. I could see how that would be a really effective strategy and could help with my active students.
Definitely with your active ones. So I'm wondering if there was anything in your lesson you would change or try differently next time.
The one thing that I was thinking about is the use of individual student whiteboards. So having them use their whiteboard, possibly giving them a problem to solve, or a vocabulary word to define, or possibly even draw a picture. And that would be another way for me to check for their understanding, and then they could share their whiteboards with their partner or their table mate. And again, that would be another way that I could check for understanding with each of my students.
Well, I will go ahead and make you a quick set just using vellum and a plastic sheet, but I will put an order in next week for
Great.
a complete classroom set. Will that help?
That would help so much. Thank you so much.
For sure. I'd be more than happy also. I'd be more than happy to get that for you.
Okay, great.
Anything else I could do for you?
You know, I'm really hoping to see a model lesson
Mhm.
on small group instruction. I feel like this is an area that I need to continue to work on.
Yeah.
I would like to hopefully see you work with a small group to see what kind of instruction you would do, what that looks like in a normal classroom setting.
I would be honored to come in. You can come in my room or I can go into your room and I can do that model lesson for you.
Great.
Just let me know when's a good time next week for us to do that.
Perfect. That sounds great. Thank you so much for allowing me that learning opportunity. I'm excited to see you in action.
I am honored too as well, and I believe we make a great team.
Building trusting relationships with students will encourage hard work and help increase achievement.
So we also talked about building relationships, among your students, and I was wondering how your survey went last week when I asked if you wanted to survey your students to get to know their likes, their interests, their beliefs, anything about their ambitions.
My students loved it. It was so wonderful and so positive to learn more about them. And I learned so much about them as individuals. And I really think this is going to help me inform my lessons now that I have a better understanding of who they are and what they enjoy doing. You should see the smiles on their faces when I use them in a lesson or an example. I feel like they're so motivated when they're personally invested in what I'm teaching.
Well, I agree with you, and I want to give you a little challenge.
Okay.
I want you to dig a little deeper in relationship building.
All right.
I was wondering, learning about students and building that deeper relationship really is a game changer for the students' attitudes, their behavior, and their demeanor. I was wondering if you would be willing to make a connection, a personal connection with someone next week. Maybe choose a child Monday through Friday and just chat with them 1 to 2 minutes a day. Talk about after school activities, talk about their weekend. Just connect with them. And, keep a journal so you know how their demeanor and behavior and attitudes are before you start. And then document anything that might trigger some good thoughts and positive thoughts and see how they're doing, towards the end of your personal connection with them. And then next week we can reflect on that. Is this something that you'd be up to doing?
Absolutely. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. And as you were describing that challenge, one child in particular really popped into my mind. I noticed he always seems kind of sad. He's inattentive. During my lessons, he never participates, even though I do think he knows the right answers. So I think my goal should be to make that personal connection with him every day. And I'd love to hopefully see some positive changes, and I'll document each day kind of how he's doing. And thank you so much for that challenge. It's not something I thought of, but I think it'll really help me grow as a teacher.
Well, we are absolutely a team focused on the same goal, and that's individual student achievement and success for lifelong learning. I am really, really proud of all your hard work. I thank you for your time. I look forward to your challenge. We'll talk about meeting for my observation mentor lesson.
Okay.
And I just think you're doing a great job.
Thank Okay, thank you so much. Thanks for your time and your positive feedback and all of the suggestions that you've given me through our time together. I always know that I can count on you for support or the support that I need through my teaching.
Thank you for allowing me to be your instructional coach.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Erin and Diane both leave with a happy and peaceful disposition, knowing that each one can depend on the other and are building an educational team.